Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name's Arena. For those of you that are new here, thank you for visiting and clicking on this channel. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for returning. And welcome back. Welcome everybody. If you enjoy my content, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I can't speak. Future videos from myself. So on this channel, as you guys might know, or if you're new, we usually talk a bit about everything, but mostly how to live your best life. I wanted to, on this video specifically, I wanted to talk about emotions and about how we react to emotions and situations in our lives where perhaps we feel hurt or someone upsets us or something happens and it gets to us, etc., etc. Now, first thing I'm going to say is there is nothing wrong with feeling. It's okay to have emotions. Now, I am a deeply passionate person. I feel deeply, and it's something I've learned with time to really love about myself because I am very passionate, and that's a great thing to be. We all feel things, we're all human, and something that I do and that I wanted to share with you guys is just learning to really manage that emotion and the energy that is given to certain things, because one thing I realized is in life not everything warrants that energy being given to it. So for example, recently I've experienced something where I was a little bit upset, my feelings got hurt, the situation wasn't what I expected it to be, etc., 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 really based on expectations that I had that I probably shouldn't have. But one thing that's important to me is to really assess if the situation warrants the amount of emotion that I give it. And the reason why I've done this is because, especially if you're quite passionate, emotional person and you do feel and you do care, it is important to try and regulate and try and really prioritize the sort of things that are deserving of the energy that you put into that. And excuse me, I've got a tickle. And if it's really not something that is worth all of that from you. And I've learned this from years of really putting a lot of emotions into things, situations, people, etc., that really ultimately weren't worth it, because the impact that whole thing had on my life was so minimal, but the expense at my own emotions and emotional well-being, etc., etc., was really high. So it really was out of balance. And now something I'm quite proactive about is really being mindful of assessing what it is that's created an emotion in me, and if it's deserving of that or if it's not. Ultimately, can we decide that and can we control that? That's something I really wanted to learn about for a long time. Now, if you don't know, I'm originally Romanian, and I think as Romanians, whether this is true or not, we do have a lot of passion running through our veins. And so this is something I really wanted to work on. And I definitely have found that obviously there are situations where, things like anxiety, things like real emotional conditions, etc., let's say, where you perhaps don't have all the control yourself, and you perhaps may need a little bit of help and support from, health practitioners or other services, etc. So I am not putting everybody into this box, but to the most, more normal things and situations that we come across in life, yes, you can control aspects of it. And you can control your emotional response to things. And how does that work? Well, in my experience, I have learned that you give power to most things, whether it's a good feeling, a bad feeling, whether it's being upset, whether it's being happy, you will always get that initial feeling. So let's say something goes bad, you feel upset, you feel sad. Now, this is the bit where I find really interesting, because at this point, it's down to you how that develops. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's down to you how much attention you give to something, whether it's positive or negative. You decide how much attention and energy and time you invest into that situation, let's say. So for example, let's say somebody said a hurtful thing and it really upset me at the time, and yes, I felt upset, but then I was feeling bad, and then I realized I'm feeling bad and this is not pleasant. So then I decided, is this person and this situation, how much am I going to allow myself to feel upset? How much am I going to give this situation? Or can I decide to accept that it upset me, but then what do I do next and how do I move forward? And this is something I literally say to myself in a situation as soon as I feel upset. And obviously it happens more when something triggers me, when something's a negative experience. But just having that plan in your mind that every time something happens that's negative or that shakes me or things don't go to plan or, I don't know, an appointment goes bad, whatever it may be, instead of sitting and being upset and saying things like, oh, I was so stupid, I should have never allowed that person, I should have never let myself, give that person this or do this for that person, or I should have assessed better, or whatever these things may be. There's a way of kind of assessing it. So you can get angry with yourself and you can start punishing yourself and you can start berating yourself, or you can say to yourself, well, look, if I was talking to a friend and if it was someone I cared about, how would I handle the situation and what would I advise them to do right now? So it is wise to reflect on what's happened, and it is wise to pay attention, don't get me wrong, and draw a conclusion from that experience. Give yourself, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes to just be really upset, get angry, whatever you need to do, but then give yourself a cutoff point and then ask yourself, okay, what can I learn? And what can I do moving forward? And what can I implement in future based on this experience? And that's just a little tip for everybody, because I do this regularly and I literally have like a little reminder in my notes in my phone. If something happens, if a situation turns bad or whatever it may be, I try and stick by this little protocol. So I hope it helps someone else out there. And I know it's not easy, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's certainly, when you feel emotion, it's very difficult to pull yourself out of it. But the same as everything else, if you don't own and learn how to control and self-regulate, you really probably won't get very far in general in life, because what happens is when we let our emotions run us, we can cause a lot of damage to situations, whether it be relationships. And I've certainly learned this in business, because you've got to stay objective and you've got to stay kind of neutral to things and be able to act in a professional way and be able to assess things accordingly, so you don't just become reactive to everything. When you're reacting, you lose a lot of your power, and when you lose control, you lose a lot of your power. People can see it, but most of all, you can feel it. Like, you feel bad, and the more you let your emotions control you, the worse you feel. And then you're going to reflect and you're going to look back and you're going to say, often you can't take things back either, which is something that I've learned in my life when I was a little bit younger. It's very difficult to undo certain things once they're done and said. So this has really inspired me to really work on emotional intelligence and just impulse control and things like that. And I'm certainly not the person that had those skills to start with. And for some people that can be quite a tricky thing, but I'm here to tell you the sort of things that helped me. So I hope someone finds this useful out there. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and thank you so much for watching and listening once again. Don't forget, give me that like, share and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos from myself, and I'll see you in my